Hello friends, and welcome back to my garden. It is the 17th of May, sitting by for all you Norwegians, and let's have our first garden tour, shall we? I started you down on this path, which I only laid last year in June, and you'd never know that it wasn't here for 50 years. The sedum acre has just come in perfectly, out of this world. I'll show you some of this first. I mean, look at the purple rock cress, the geraniums are opening up. Oh, look at this, my peony bush is opening today. This garden was all new last year, and it came back beautifully. I would say 85%. The bunnies ate a few things down, like the spirea here, for example, was eaten down to the ground. This 18 inches of growth is all like 3 weeks ago. Same with the rose bush and such. So we'll see how things go. That's supposed to be a hydrangea, oak leaf hydrangea. But everything's coming along really lovely. I believe that's a columbine over there. Let's head on into the vegetable garden. But before we do, I want to show you, here's my yard, side yard, mowed normally. I have participated on and off in no mow May over the years. And this year, I'm no mowing just the section here where my orchard is. And look at the fruit trees, by the way. Look how nice and lush they are. Oh my gosh. We're approaching 10 years old for some of them. I should also point out, I did lay a whole hedge of tulips, and they're so beautiful. Morning, dude. Go Badgers. And this is the end of their game. Everything is early and spectacular this year because of the heat we've had. It was a mild winter. But I just like to show how nice this looks. 150 tulips. I think this fall I'll plant another row behind it of 150 or so alliums. Oh! I have another experiment. You'll notice this is all long. It was supposed to be all wildflower. I tilled and I laid a ton of wildflower seed. It was a mix. It's supposed to be 18 to 24 inches tall. And I don't know, maybe 60% germinated. The rest is just grass, right? You can see, especially along the edge here, I must have done something wrong. Fair amount of dandelions, but then there's some actual wildflower plants in there. I'm eager to see what becomes of this. I had a very nice neighbor. I have a very nice neighbor in that White House, and he came over and talked to me. He said, "Don't worry, these things take 2 years to establish," which I thought was so wise of him. It's 5:40 in the morning, which is why we've got that nice dew on the ground. Oh, before we go to the vegetable garden, let's check out the front. I never would have expected 7 or 8 years ago, 9 years ago is when I started this channel, that my garden tours would become more than just a vegetable garden. But here we are. Planting pots this weekend. This is the oldest garden in the front. Irises are just about to bloom. It has dwarfed over the years because of all the shade from this tree. And that's okay. I want the tree to grow. Look at that nice overhang. We still have some tulips yet. I'm calling those black or almost burgundy. These are the alliums I'm talking about. I'm gonna plant a big row of this right behind the tulips at the bench in the fall. Will that be cool? Yeah, that'll be cool. This is Phyllis's garden. We planted this 3 years ago now. Or this is its 3rd year. No, 3 years ago. Just beautiful. Just beautiful. As a reminder, it was 4 more of these moogles. We left 1, right? Nice transition. It is quite lovely. Things are growing in, like this is damn near confluent. Same with the sedum back there. I should transplant more of that around this space. 17th of May, we have phlox opening. This is a June crop for us. It's just bizarre. And look at how nice the lady slippers are. Bleeding hearts. I found this at an estate sale. Isn't that lovely? All right, let's power walk back. I see views like this, and I do realize it's a magical fairy tale that we've created. I love it. I had a neighbor give me a book about the Cotswolds in England. It's totally how I feel. It's a fun little path, right? Just cutting a little path with a lawnmower. Man, my kids love it. I do too. They're as excited about it as I am. Yesterday, I planted the vegetable garden. I'm late to the game. I should have done even more work in April because of how hot it's been. But I ran for city council. That took up 6 months of my life. And I lost by 1% of total votes. And so April was very depressing, and I didn't get a lot of work done. But I'm over that hump. And into the garden. It started off by just lots of cleaning, as things always do. In the perennial fruits, I mean, it's huge. It's hard to even get a perspective even with this backed out. We have, you know, our red and black currant and the gooseberry, and they're completely mature. I mean, these have 5-foot spreads to all of them, and they are loaded right here. Just loaded down. Another great crop. And the raspberries. This year I just topped them. I cut off the dead stuff, and I pulled a few of the dead canes on the inside. I did not completely cut them down to the ground. 2 different kinds of raspberries, you know. Type A, type B. You can see the difference. This is a black jewel raspberry over here. The rhubarb, massive, massive. What's to say? 2 different kinds. Gotta back up. You can even see the color of the leaves is a little different. Great lighting. Just great lighting. If you ever get these, just snap them off. Your rhubarb does not need to go to seed. Take that energy out. Let it give it to the fruit. Here's a change already. So the trellis system had extended over here. This was my very first trellis, actually. 8 years ago, 2015 is when I put it in. It was brand new. And this year I just ripped it out because I had some infestations of crawling grapevine and other things down here, and it was time to get rid of it. It had also fallen over in the wind, and so I have these blueberry plants, 1, 2, 3, 4, ignore the watermelon, and they were up here between this front bed and the fence, and they have never done anything except get eaten by the rabbits, but they're still green, and the root system was good. And honestly, it's been a week since I transplanted them here, and they're super green, and there is new growth on them. So I have high hopes, and I'm not sure where I'm going to put this one yet. Yesterday at the greenhouse, my kids are growing, obviously. Charlotte will be 6 in August. Louisa just turned 3 last month in April, and she can have some sticky fingers. And so she was riding on the cart with me, and I just heard heard some giggles, and I thought she was having fun. Turns out she grabbed a watermelon plant and 2 different kinds of tomatoes. So, right, how could I not just buy them and have her plant them with me? It was fantastic. So we'll get some watermelon this year. I ripped a lot out. Let's talk about that. I ripped out almost all of my Jerusalem artichokes. This is ground cherries, exclusively ground cherries in the smaller bed back here. I'm not doing any root vegetables this year. No carrots, no potatoes, no beets. I have 2 rows of bush beans. And here, for the first time in ages, I've got cucumber. We'll grow that up this tomato trellis, inverted. I haven't planted any herbs back there yet, although this is catnip and just some chive. Here, okay. Obviously, strawberries are outside of the bed. This was an established bed of asparagus, and they all just died. I'm so sad about that too, really. You know, asparagus is supposed to be like a 15, 20-year crop, and I got 5 years out of it. I don't entirely know what was the problem. If it was a nutrient deficiency or if the soil was too dense. I got some good harvest out of it. Never like a lot though. Never anything that I could just like come out and cut off 30 pieces, take it inside and fry it up for the family. And then last year, I think they started coming up just like 1 asparagus shoot each. And this year, like I got 3 of them. So like, just forget it. I left the actual roots in there and I just snapped them off. I'll snap them off as they come up and just let them naturally die. And the strawberries, I tried to transplant the runners back in the box, but they insisted on going everywhere but the box. So I think I'm going to leave them for now, and this fall find a new spot for them. I don't know if it's a bed here or somewhere else in the yard. So this is all to say that in between strawberry plants, right, I planted green peppers in this bed. And then mint. God, never plant mint, guys. But if you do, make sure you plant it in a box so it doesn't get everywhere. This just spreads and spreads and spreads, right? You can tell the soil here. I had to till it up, break it, kill the roots best I could. We'll see how the peppers do in that newly disturbed soil. In this bed, a hillage of spaghetti squash and zucchinis. Decided to do some leafy greens in a bed this year. Lettuce, kale, and Swiss chard. Been a while since I've just done a bed of leafy greens, but the kids are actually really into it, like eating it. And then all tomatoes in the front. Really, I do my tomatoes for salsa canning. So half of them are tomatillos, the other half are just a nice, I think I chose like a beef steak variety instead of aroma. And at the end, Sticky Fingers Louisa. One of them is a cherry tomato, which was actually good. And the other, I have no idea what it's called. I'm happy to note that the blackberries, you know, they're looking good, right? I transplanted 2 sections, 1 and 2 the other day. They just take a little while to perk up, but the roots will be fine. Remember when I redid the fence, how the fence was much further in that direction? 4 or 5 feet. It was angled towards the house. You can watch those videos. But now that it's straight and normal, half of the blackberries are on that side and half of them are over here. I'm happy that the ones over here are establishing, but I'm keeping the ones over there as well. Just thought you should know. So that is the garden. The gardens and the orchard. You want to walk through the orchard? Why not? We can walk and talk. You know, that's the fun thing about having a YouTube channel and not really caring about the algorithm. I can go for half a year, 7 months, whatever, without posting anything. And it's okay. It's okay. We're up to 22,300 subscribers now. Woohoo! Check it out. It's just beautiful. The height of the trees are wonderful. I didn't do any pruning this year. I pruned last year. I shouldn't say I didn't do any pruning. I pruned off water sprouts. That's about it. But like, look at the Reliant peach. Tons. This, I think, is a Bartlett pear. Tons. Ditto with his companion pear. Oh, I actually haven't walked over here. Oh yes, this is going to be the first year we get a companion pear crop. It's going to be a banger year for everything, and the first year we get a truly bumper crop of all of our fruits. Oh, I don't often walk in the high grass. It tickles. My girls love it. But look at ditto for the Macintosh, which I'm happy to say that my graft took so well. Look at that. The graft is half the thickness of the stalk. Yay. Very good. In time, I suspect the graft will probably wrap around the original. It was girdled years ago, and I did a quadruple bypass, and one of the bypasses took, and it was enough to save the tree. This is crepes. I don't even remember. I think this might be Honey Crisp. No blossoms on it. That's okay. And this is my Granny Smith, and the Granny Smith again, loaded. Gonna be tons. Yes. How about my cherries? The flowers were just beautiful this year, as you can imagine. Look at that. They're loaded down. Yep. They'll be closing up. This is another peach. I think this is the Contender. And we didn't get any peaches, like 2 peaches on it last year. I'm happy to say. It's going to be a decent peach crop on this, if the squirrels don't get it. And look at this. I think this peach, or excuse me, this cherry is just the most shapely tree. So stunning. And just loaded. Loaded, loaded, loaded. Oh, guys. I've got a proper orchard. Yes. Yes. I've got some 8-year-old trees now. And then some 5-year-old trees. Yeah. Like this one here, this is a younger tree, although it looks big. It's a younger tree compared to the Mac, which is why the Mac and the Granny Smith are loaded, but this one's not. Ditto with the 2 cherries and this front peach. They're the younger trees as opposed to this one here. And for those of you who have followed along for ages, you already know this, but I started my trees off as bare root whips, my original 5. And this one, so this giant, beautiful, full, wonderfully shaped tree that I put so much effort into, started off as a bare root whip, no bigger than a clipping like that. My neighbor over there came out one day and said, "You're planting sticks in your yard?" Yes, my sticks have become an orchard. How's your garden going? Did you have a good year? How have you been, guys? Haven't talked to you regulars in forever. Thanks for watching this long, rambly video. I might get better at them again. I'm a little out of practice. I'll talk to you soon. Happy 7th of May. Bye.